This is Marion's Natural News.
Hi everyone, this is Naturalist James Anderson for the Marion County Park District, and welcome to another episode of Marion's Natural News. Today I'm at the Greensburg Nature Preserve, which is 3 miles north of Prospect, right off 203. If you remember where the old power plant was located, directly across from that's where this park is located. So today I want to talk about a special plant I have here. This is called sticky bedstraw, and we're going to learn some neat characteristics and some neat things about this plant. Going out for a little bit, then after that it'll start to disappear. So I thought this is a great time to talk about it so we can acquire an appreciation. So hopefully you might learn what this plant is, or maybe you can tell your friends about it later on. So stay tuned and enjoy the show, folks. So the scientific name for bedstraw is Galium aparin. Aparin in Greek means to hold on to or sticky. So obviously within its name, sticky bedstraw, it's going to stick onto your clothes. When I'm doing any type of forest hike with kids, I always love showing this plant. And a lot of different names for this. Again, sticky bedstraw is the most common name you'll probably hear. Cleavers is another one in a lot of botany books. Sticky bud, sticky grass, goose grass, you name it. Basically anything with sticky in it, then this will be the name for this plant.
A great way to identify this plant is it has edges and has very pubescent hairs. When you feel it, it feels rough, and as within the name, it has a sticky feeling to it. Leaves are whorled. Leaves again have hairs on them. So again, those are some great characteristics on how to identify this plant. Another way to identify this plant is right now by its flowers. They have tiny little white flowers, 4 petals, kind of a yellowish green center disc. As you can see within these pictures, the flowers are a lot smaller compared to the rest of the size of this plant. So you kind of got to have your eye out, and if you want to see any more finer detail of this flower, you may need a magnifying glass. The flowers will disappear here soon, so yeah, this is what it looks like.
So some of you might be wondering, well, where did the name bedstraw really come from? Well, it actually came from Europe, because a lot of the Europeans, especially in the medieval times, would use this plant, dry it up, and then they would make a bedding material. Now there are some other bedstraws out in Europe that have more of a nice fragrant smell. And especially that was very important in the medieval times, especially when the Black Plague was around, because one of the practices doctors would believe is a good sense of smell could help cure diseases. Obviously that's not true, but that was the medicine back then. So this could have been a plant probably used at that time, the Black Plague, when people were sick, and because it had a nice fragrance. Oh, I'm cured. Well, sadly that wasn't the story. So
This plant is native. Everybody's wondering, well, where can I find it? It mainly likes to grow in moist, shady areas. So typically in a forest setting, but sometimes you can find it in disturbed waste sites. Sometimes you can find them in prairie areas. But again, typically when you have moist, shaded areas, that's a more of a preferable habitat for the bedstraw. Scientists have found out that sticky bedstraw can produce between 100 to 400 individual nuts. As you look in this picture, you're going to notice these little fuzzy balls on the top of the plant. That is the nut of the bedstraw. Some edible facts about the bedstraw: that you can actually roast these little nuts and use it as a coffee substitute. Some people actually prefer it better than coffee, but it does not have any of the caffeine, so it's really good if you're trying to cut down on your caffeine intake, but still wanted that great coffee tasting flavor. Bed straw, also chicory, that's also another great substitute that you can use to not get that caffeine effect.
So everybody's asking, is this plant edible? Some parts are. You can use the leaves and the stalk. You can put them in salads. Now keep in mind, because of those hooks that they have to attach themselves to things, it's going to be very unpleasant and probably a little uncomfortable for your tongue. But actually, geese really enjoy it. That's why another name for this is actually called goosegrass. And so probably a good recommendation if you're probably going to eat this plant, I would highly recommend boiling it. That would probably get rid of the hairs.
Some of the medicinal properties that this plant has, they believe that drying out the leaves, making it into a tea, can help cure things, any skin issues, and many other medical conditions. This has been used for a very long time, and even some herbalists today will use it for common medicine practices.
Well, everyone, that concludes our program for today. Hopefully you learned something new about sticky bed straw. Some of you, again, probably had no idea what this wildflower was, but hopefully you can apply this to the rest of your family members, your friends, your co-workers, or anybody that you encounter. So remember, folks, have fun, be safe, but most of all, go out and explore your Marion County parks, folks. I'm Naturalist James Sanderson, and next time I'll see you on Marion's Natural News.